From the heart of Maine, this is the DuView podcast.
Welcome to this week's episode of the DuView podcast. I am your host, Du, a.k.a. Ryan Dumont, and this week I am joined by not only my friend, but also the head soccer coach of the Cony boys soccer team here in Augusta, Maine, Marcio Biasuz. Marcio, welcome onto the podcast this week. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me here, Ryan.
Yeah, not a problem.
Excited.
Yeah, most definitely. So, for those of you that don't know Marcio or never, met him before, Marcio is originally from Brazil. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple minutes. But Marcio came to Augusta, and, the rest is pretty much history from there. But we'll get into the specifics here. So, Marcio, you grew up in Brazil. When did you start playing soccer? Is it, right out of the womb? Do they just, put a pair of cleats on you and, run you out there?
I think basically that's you are correctly. I have a picture when I was a baby on a crib, and beside me in a crib was a soccer ball.
That's too funny. I mean, so it's literally, and it's so different. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about the difference in our cultures, sports-wise. Obviously, in America, I mean, it's changing every year. But in Brazil, I mean, soccer is the sport, right?
Yeah.
That's the big show.
Yes.
As it is for a lot of our South and Central American neighbors and a lot of our friends over the pond as well. So what age did you physically start playing, like, organized soccer?
Well, I just like over here, I stopped playing when I was kindergarten with the rec department over there, and the difference between that and here is those rec department over here, it's 6 weeks in the spring, 6 weeks in the fall. Over there is all year round. You have a 2 weeks break, and they continue again.
I was going to say, you do guys benefit from that nice Brazilian climate. I mean, it is a little bit warmer and most of the year, right?
Yeah, the entire year. Most of the year is warm. Big part of the year is very, very hot.
Yeah.
But that helps us too, because we can play all year round.
Yeah, and I actually had some friends that I did a camp with. They were from Miami. They played down in Miami, so they were playing with a lot of Cuban players, a lot of Spanish-speaking players, and they had big, like, warehouses designated to, like, soccer fields, but so that they could actually have shade because it got so hot, in Miami. That's just an interesting thing that we have to find places that are heated so we can even play during the wintertime, So that's excellent. And so year-round soccer, so that obviously, has an effect on the caliber of players.
Absolutely. Once you start with that age, that younger like that, and you play basically every day in your life, you get to get the intimacy with the soccer ball in your foot.
Right.
So you play. Not only in the recreation that we play, but as a kid, you go in the school break time. Every kid in the school in the break time have a soccer ball.
Yeah.
And
recess is soccer time. It's not playing the jungle gym. We're playing soccer.
Recess soccer.
Yep.
And then play, go back all sweating to the classroom.
But there's something to that too. At the same time, that's a really unique experience. I actually playing on a jungle gym's fun and all, but I actually kind of wish I could kick around the pitch instead of falling off a jungle gym or something.
That's true. Yeah. So that playing all day long, like I said, we play in the recess in the school. We play when you come home. You do your homework late in the afternoon. You go pick up games down in the street sometimes in fields, and you play until it's night. And the next day, get up in the morning, you do everything over again.
On repeat the next day and the next day and the next day. Well, that's awesome. So where did you call home in Brazil? Where did you grow up?
I was born in Rio de Janeiro and grew up in Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, so Rio born and raised.
Yes.
Born and raised,
Yep.
Which definitely a city with its own established culture and personality and everything like that. And I'm sure that's a very unique place to call your original home.
Absolutely, it's there where we have the beautiful beaches and Copacabana, Ipanema. You see that music,
Carnival.
you hear that music. Get over Ipanema, it comes from there. The carnival, the huge carnival in Brazil, it comes from Rio de Janeiro. The samba, and that carnival and that samba with the quick feet dancing that you see a lot in our soccer players today. Since the kids all the way up to professional, they kind of put that jinga, the
like the 1-2 step, the very quick little precise movements, like like give and goes, the little 1-2, most definitely. That's very unique, and like I said, it's ingrained in the culture. Like I said, we in the United States are a little bit more spread out, in terms of how we have our sports, obviously. But like that is, as much as Carnival, or as much as Cristo the Redeemer, the statue outside of the city, as much as that is, so is soccer. And that's beautiful. And that's beautiful. So did you know that? When did you know, or did you know that soccer was going to be a big part of your future? When did you start kind of figuring things out in that front?
When I was around 10 years old, I did a tryout to play for a professional club called Fluminense in Rio de Janeiro. My father brought me there. That was his passion for me to play soccer. So they were going to tell us in the week after. They took 2 weeks to let us know.
Wow.
And I got selected to be part of the club. Along with me was another 349 players participating in the club that did the tryout and was selected. So then I still had a lot of fun, and I went to the club and I started learning professionally, touching the ball.
Would that be like when the academy phase starts, so to speak? You learn like a lot of learning, a lot of emphasis on the the techniques and the really technical fine points of the game.
Yes, everything, every aspect of the game. Basically, you touch on the ball, your first touch on the ball, your skills, your dribblings, your passings, and all the fundamentals, headings, the ball, you name it.
Shooting, passing, trapping.
Shooting, how to play formation. Back then in 1980s, was very common for us to play 4-4-2 flat. So we mastered that. I adore that formation even today, because that's what I grew up playing.
Right. And it's a good system on top of everything else.
Yeah, it's very balanced system.
Yep. And if you play it well, you'll always have the advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. If you know how to play, you really have that advantage, especially because in the center of the field you have 2, 4, 6 players in the front of the field.
And you're, like I said, on offense, again, if you do it right on offense, you're always a man up on the attack. And if you're on defense, you're always can lock it down in the middle with that extra guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is beautiful. Yeah. So the club system starts around 10 years old for folks. And so how is the club system different from like the United States than what you guys do in Brazil? Like you said, you had a tryout class and around 10 years old. Are things similar here or quite a bit different?
As professional soccer over here, I'm not really sure, because we live in an area that, like I live in Boston before Massachusetts, and then here we have clubs, non-professional clubs, good clubs, by the way.
Right. But it's not like we have, like, for example, I played when I was, doing Premier and travel for, like, Central Maine United. It's not like Central Maine United has, like, a feeder program for the MLS or something like that, right?
No, it's not.
I feel like in the United States, we very much more like, you go to college, and that's where you get, or maybe if you're good enough, maybe you get picked up by one of, like, the minor league teams, or you try out or something. It seems much more isolated here, and it's more centralized. Like, there's more of a system. In Brazil, in terms of the club system, it's more like from an earlier age.
Yes,
it's like it's no different than if you think you want to be a doctor. Like you might do some medical related little things, like go and look over somebody's shoulder or something. But like it's the same thing. It's like very much like this is what you're going to do for a job. This is like training.
Absolutely, like a teacher. Over here, you go to college to become a teacher.
Yeah.
Over there, you start. If you want to be a teacher, you start right in high school.
Yeah. Yep.
but yeah, that's where you go. I started at 10, and as I every year I move up to the next level, to the next level, to the next level, and that's how until you reach the professional level.
Yeah.
But I mean, you at one point when I was 16 years old, that's what they cut off for the academy itself.
Yep.
So out of the 350 players, they picked 22 players to continue.
Wow.
To sign.
Quite a cutoff.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, these people have been your friends, compatriots for X amount of 6 years.
Yeah.
And it must get pretty cutthroat
Yeah.
towards the end of the process.
Yeah. And quite frankly, I was one of them among choose to be part of the 22. I didn't think that I was gonna make because there was so many good players with the good fancy foot skills, and my father got the call, and we were surprised and shocked.
Yeah.
So we went there. We met with the president, vice president, and the administrative. We signed my first contract at the age of 16, and he literally mentioned to me the reason they picked me up was not because foot skills basically only, but because I was able to read the game, to scan the game.
Right.
And
that's
because
huge.
game
Knowledge of the game, rather, not knowledge. Yeah, try that again. Knowledge of the game, right, is so important. I mean, we do it with our own kids that we coach. You recognize a kid, he understands soccer really well, and that's so valuable in its own right. I mean, I was that way when I played, even just in high school. I had a great understanding of the game, and that was I the fastest? No. Yeah. God, no. But, I understood the game, and that put me a step above, and same thing, it worked out for you as well.
And that basically is what it is. Everyone over there, every kid over there, every player have outstanding foot skills, especially when you're young. You're fast and you do all the foot skills and everything. But a lot of the players focus on their foot skills and forget about the knowledge of the game.
Team aspect and yes. That's when you see somebody try to dribble the whole field by themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that doesn't work.
Not just that. Just why we teach our kids over here, our players, Cony, for instance. This is what I learned over there. You play the system from the back. You play your system. You play your system. You play smart. You play your passes, your combination passes. You move all the way up. The only area that you have your freedom is right there on the top of the 18th. That's where you have your freedom to do your runs and your dribbles and put the ball on the net. But when you see players dribble in the back, dribble in the middle, all over the place, they're outstanding. But unfortunately, a lot of them didn't go through because the knowledge of the game.
Right, and like I said, that's so important as we've already emphasized, and we'll probably continue to emphasize throughout the episode. But so, like I said, you made the final cut, part of the final 22. Signed your first contract at 16, which I can't even wrap my head around. I mean, like I was maybe like a junior in high school playing for for John Millett. Like I can't imagine. I was much. I was actually it's interesting the different parallels. You were really just kicking off your soccer journey, really. I mean, that first contract, and in the United States, a lot of us, that play, we're nearing the end of our journey. Towards the end of high school or college. For a lot of us, it's different dynamic for sure.
Yeah. Second things are equal over here. Second things are different. Like over there, the best thing for you to become a professional, you start running a club.
Yep.
And learn and move
all
up.
the way through academy, all the tiers.
Yeah, and go all the way through. And then, when you sign your contract, the only thing when you sign a contract that I used to play for the high school too, I could not anymore. I had to give up everything else.
You were exclusively for the club.
Absolutely, yeah. So you move up 16, 17, then over there, or when you're 18, or either you move up to the pro, or the clubs sell you to another club, or they have the agents. There's a lot of agents that watches your game too.
Right.
Because as a 16, youth 16, 17, our club plays against other clubs.
Right.
They have over there Vasco da Gama, Flamengo, and goes all the professional clubs there, the youth. And the cool thing about it was that I love it. It's when I remember my first time when I went to a professional stadium to play a match with another club. I was like, I look all the way around. I was like, oh my God, I'm right here.
Yeah, it's like this seats a lot more people than the bleachers at the high school field.
2,000 people.
Yeah.
To watch U16 playing.
That's amazing.
Over 2,000 people.
I mean, like, we'll have, tournaments up at the Cara complex, U12, U whatever. And I mean, they're well attended, but not 2,000 people well attended.
Yes. Over there is insane. Even myself, I never thought about it.
Right.
That way.
I mean, that's
was a shock.
Again, amazing dynamic, cultural differences. And like I said, we play so many more sports and have so much more, not to say going on, because that's not a fair description at all. But just it's a different culture, different sports culture, different culture in that respect anyway. So how long did you play for the club, or did you play for multiple clubs? What went into your journey?
My journey on that club from my first contract to 18 was short. From 16 to 18.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's the sad part of my life. In Brazil. Back then, I'm not sure if it's now still like that. Every male was obligated a severe country.
Military obligational military service. Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of professional athletes, they get a waiver with that. So when my letter came for me to present to the Navy, so I went there myself and bought the letter, bought the contracts with me and everything. I remember I had a long hair at that time. I was, cool guy.
I think your son Gabe is referred to as Fabio.
Yeah. He sees pictures.
Well, that's just it's funny, to look at even my own dad in high school. He had longer hair than I do. Than I do now. He had hair down to almost his butt. That's amazing. Times change, right?
But it's. When I was that age, 17, just before the Navy, I got invited to do modeling like a runaway modeling.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I did that, and for an agency, I did that in Copacabana Beach, in front of doing like a surf
ad or something like that.
Shorts and surfboards and that kind of stuff, and
very cool.
Long hair. It was pretty cool, and I did all kind of
soccer player, model.
Oh yeah.
You acted all? Was there a short time in the Brazilian, movie industry? Or,
So I have a whole book of albums of pictures. And the kids look at them, my kids look and they laugh. And it's like, Daddy, sure? You look funny in that thing. It's like, don't look at it.
That's enough out of you. Go to your room.
Yeah.
So, so you played for that, and then military, sir. Did you have to go into the military or what?
Then, so that's what my frustration came. So I went to the Navy. I presented the letter, my copy of my contracts and everything. They got my documentation, everything, and the sergeant sent me to brought me another room, and in this room was a barber. So I was like, I had long hair. I was a cool dude,
And
I said, no, I'm not playing. No, you gotta have to. No, I'm not. No, you're going to. I had no choice. They set me down there and cut my hair and pretty much shaved the whole thing, off. I was like a crying, man. I love my hair.
It's like losing a part of yourself. It's literally losing a part of yourself.
So from there, I went to an officer in the office, and there was the commander, and he looked at he had my contract in his hand, and he's like, "Oh, so you play for Fluminense? Okay." Which is very famous club in Rio, Fluminense, Flamengo. Flamengo is like Red Sox and Yankees.
Yeah, for the Brazilians.
Yes. Yep. So he says to me, well, I give you two options, One option is great. So you can play for our Navy SEAL team, and then you can be traveling with us and eat the best foods with officials and stay in nice hotels and places. Or if you deny that, you're gonna be scraping, remodeling old ship.
That's a quite a choice to be placed in front of you. So play for the military's soccer team, right? Play for the military's soccer team, or renovate old boats.
Yes. So I was really like in shock with that. That's not my plans at all.
No. Because I mean, like you said, didn't they waive a lot? Most
Yes,
other
a
folks.
lot
So you
of
were
them.
put into a very difficult position, really. They basically, I mean, and this is me just finding out about this, but they basically said, well, we kind of got him right where we want him. Really, I mean, that's unfortunately they kind of had you between a rock and a hard place.
So I accept his offer.
Yep.
Think in my mind, I'm gonna reach out and I'm gonna go home, gonna reach out to the club, and from that day on, I didn't come home. They sent me to the boot camp. I know that the president of the club contacted them and everything. My father was trying to fight, but it didn't go anywhere. So I went to boot camp. After the boot camp, then I enjoyed their club, the soccer team, and I played for them.
What was like playing for I mean, because I know even here we have the the Navy, U.S. Navy has a soccer team or a rugby team or whatever, and they play other countries' teams. Is that what you did with the Brazilian military or the Navy team?
I play international with other countries. I have a really cool and fun story. Do we have a time to tell?
Oh, by all means, yes, please.
So I played against United States 3 times, and we beat 3 times them. It was pretty cool. And other countries too, and we played. So years went by, and I came to the United States, and I lived in Boston for a long time. I moved to Maine, and I got my green card, and my green card was about to expire, and when I looked at the price to renew the green card and to do the citizenship was the same price, so I decided to do the citizenship.
Yep.
Right? I was avoided because I knew I have to study 100 questions.
Oh yeah, yep.
So I decided to do that, and what the heck, why not? I'm gonna do the citizenship. So I went there, applied I got the book, and I got the DVD, and I used to go to work. I used to work in Lewiston and put the DVD every day, listen on my way to Lewiston, come back, and read the book and those 100 questions and get ready for the test. And for months I was doing that. So the day of the test, I was so nervous. Even I was driving with my wife. My son Mikhail was quizzing me.
Yeah. That's awesome. I can see him doing that. That's awesome. Yeah.
All the way to Portland.
Yeah. So you had an hour, the hour of questioning on the drive down.
To refresh, So I get there. I was so nervous, to pass on the test. So I get there. They call me. The officer brought me to this office, and he had 2 cameras over there, and he had his books and stuff, and he set up everything to me. And then all of a sudden, he looked up to me a little bit closer, and he says, "Do I know you from somewhere?" I says, "Well, you probably know me from here because I came here a couple times to apply." He says, "No, I have your face is very, very familiar for a long time ago." And he kept a look at me, and I said, "Are you from Brazil, right?" He said, "I'm from Brazil."
Yeah.
"By any chance, you in the Brazilian Navy?" He says, "Yeah, I was in the Brazilian Navy." "By any chance, did you play soccer in the Brazilian Navy?" "Yeah, I play soccer in the Brazilian Navy." I said, "You play against the United States?" "Yeah." He get up. "Oh my goodness, you play with me. I remember you. We went to bars together. We all went to bars together."
That's awesome. Oh.
And bottom line, the conversation there, we sit down there talking about those old moments for about a half an hour. Him talking to the officer of immigration for half an hour, right? About soccer, right? And he said he got done with that and with the Navy, and he's now immigrants officer and everything. And so toward the end, the conversation, he looked to me and said, "Oh, by the way, we got to do this test." So okay, I'm like, cool. I was all relaxing. I forgot everything already. And then he looked to me and he said, Marcio, what is the name of the president of the United States? I said to him, Barack Obama. And he stand up, congratulations. Welcome to America. I never forgot that.
That's terrific.
A small world.
Oh yeah, overly small. You know, crazy small.
We took pictures together. With like, you know, it's
well,
amazing.
I mean, you have to, and it's like it's also just amazing. You know, he remembered you, and you know, and eventually vice versa. You know, and that's crazy. It's too small of a world. And so. Right. That kind of segues me into the next question. So, when did you come to the United States? I know you said that you came originally on a green card, and then you know went the citizenship route. So, when did you first come to the Estados Unidos?
Yes, I came to the United States in 1994.
1994. Okay.
Yes, at the time I didn't have a green card. I came with a visa.
Okay.
With a visa student. I remember I got down last club that I played was for Guadalajara University in Guadalajara, Mexico.
Yep.
I got down there. That's basically what I got my visa because we went to play against Fort Lauderdale Strikers. I think.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So I was supposed to go back. It was just for 1 year only. I was supposed to go back to Rio, and I decided to have my visa. I have some cash. I'm going to go to the United States because that's my dream.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there, right? I mean, especially if you're in Guadalajara, it's right. I mean, it's literally right there. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I have some good friends back then. I still have some friends in Las Vegas. I live in Las Vegas, and so I went there and we hooked up, and it was fun.
Excellent.
You know. And then I have also some other good friends in Boston. So I come to know Boston and come to Boston. It's like, my goal was to go to Harvard University to study English. So I come back to Brazil because Harvard in Brazil, oh my gosh, is huge.
Yeah, like it has a very big reputation.
Oh, it's like huge reputation. Huge.
A lot of kids from Brazil actually go to Harvard? Do a lot of them get it? I mean, I know they have a very hefty international amount of students at Harvard. You know, I mean, the campus is basically a city of its own. You know, I mean, all those Boston schools really are. It's crazy, but that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So the goal was English at Harvard.
English in Harvard, I was like, I'm going to go there, I'm going to learn English, I'm going to get my diploma, I'm going to go there, back to Brazil, I'm going to show off to everybody, you know what I mean? So I enrolled there. In my class, we didn't really have any Brazil. It was a lot of people from Spain and Japan. A lot of people from Japan. There was a lot. It was Japan. I think it was like, oh my gosh, 90% of the students were from Japan.
Yep.
But anyhow, I with my friends over here, because soccer and they Brazilians know each other. The war goes over, and then it was a semi-pro league happening in Brazil. The Brazilian team had a Brazil community had a Brazilian soccer team, and I got invited to play.
Oh, excellent!
Yeah, and then
so it was like being back at home again.
yeah. Then I played there. Semi-pro. It was pretty fun. It was enjoyable, and and that's when I start to develop. I like the country. I always love it. I always had a dream of me to come here.
Yeah.
I had other things in Brazil that I was not happy with, and one of them was the government. That's the sad part of my story of play big on influence and change my future. So I was not happy.
Right.
So I ended up staying, and
I mean, and that's too bad because as a student of history and a political student myself, I mean, we talk about I'm trying to think of the right word here, but sometimes you have some instability in a lot of your South American governments, or there's a lot of corruption, especially I remember stories coming out when Brazil hosted the Olympics, the Summer Olympics, and they're just like pushing all the poor people to one section of town, and government's skimming money off the top, and it's just given I can't say anything here in the United States, we're not too much better. We just hide it a lot better. But the fact of the matter being, that's too bad. It's just that
Yeah.
with the lack of just stability. But
Like
again,
corruption,
yeah,
violence.
yeah.
I, you know, I went through a lot of stuff that is not even worth to talk over here
Yeah,
in the
no,
show.
I get you. Yeah, no, I get
because
you.
it's
I
so
get you.
bad, you know.
Yeah. Yep. No, yeah, I
Um,
completely understand that. And so
but
so you had the dream of moving to the United States, lived in Boston. How long did you
Yeah.
live in Boston for?
How long?
Yeah.
Boy, that's a good question. I was
Ballpark it, yeah.
Ballpark. I was 1994 to 2000. Yeah,
And then after 2000, did you make the move up to Augusta? Did you come up here?
to Augusta.
Yeah,
Yes,
yep.
yeah. I meet my wife over there. She used to work. She used to go on a Northeastern University,
Mhm.
so that's where I met her.
Gotcha,
and,
gotcha.
we dated for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
she brought me here and met the family, and I like it. It was, over there I was alone.
Mhm.
You know, I have
Yeah.
a lot of friends.
Right.
I had my Brazilian team,
Yeah,
and
but
we
it's
played,
it's a
but
different dynamic. Yeah,
Yeah,
most
yeah.
definitely.
And ended up getting married. So
Yeah.
and stay here in Maine.
Yeah, and 3 kids later, and
And
now
3
we're
kids
now
later.
we're basically neighbors now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and if anybody doesn't know, Marcio literally lives. He moved down the street from me. How long ago did you move down the street? Not too
Last
long.
year.
Last year, yeah.
September.
Yeah, about
last year,
a year ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's too funny. And so coming to Augusta, Marcia, you got involved more with the soccer programs here in Augusta, and so that's actually kind of segues into how I met you. Was eventually through your involvement in the soccer programs here in Augusta. And so, did you first just get right involved with the rec program, or what was your first program that you got involved with up here for soccer?
Was it with the rack?
Yep.
Was my son Mikaeus. Gabriel was too young,
Too young,
then.
yep.
But Mikaeus started the rack. We signed him for rack, and I went to watch his practices and everything. And I think everything started when I started to come over the field, and before his practicing, start to teach him, the moves about the foot skills and stuff. And then his coach at the rack saw me teaching. He said, "Can you teach this? Our team over here, this what you did with your foot."
Yeah, I
So
I don't quite know how to do that. Could you show all of them, please?
Oh, they're fathers,
Yeah,
fathers with good hearts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like, if you don't, but you had years of technical
Yeah.
soccer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you literally went through boot camp to play soccer.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
directly and indirectly, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
So I mean, that's so unique. And again, we just don't have that up here.
Yeah.
No. We just don't. I mean,
No,
as you
you
found out very quickly, right? It was
Yeah.
like, oh, Marcio's here, Marcio. There was a Marcio hype. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. That's how it started.
Yeah.
Just to help my son, and then
Yeah.
and he coach invite me to help the team, and I'll help him coach. And then
Was that your first coaching experience there? Did you not really coach or think about coaching before?
No,
Nope.
not think about coaching before. Just helping the coach.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And then next year, says, you know what? I'm gonna sign up to be the coach because I feel comfortable. I feel
Yeah.
everybody knew already me over there, and the kids knew me too. So I signed up next year to volunteer, and I did, and our team won all the games. We didn't lose any game all the way. I remember even Jake Varney.
Oh yeah, one of our
Was
senior
like-
players this year. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Amazing.
Like, I had my full circle moment this year because I mean, I coached Gabe, your youngest, with Millet his freshman year, and then I got circumstances happened, life happened, and then coming back and coaching this year with them as seniors now. That meant a lot to me. And I mean, I don't think I ever even got to mention it to those guys. I mean, maybe I talked about it, real briefly with like Gabe and Will and a few of the other older guys. But it meant a lot to me to be back this year, and not only just to coach with you, but just to be back with those, those when you start with somebody and you see them go through and you're, spend a lot of time with them, and you literally watch them grow up. That's
Yeah.
special.
That's
very special.
That's very special. Jake was one of them. I have Eli. I have several of them there
Yeah,
that was
I'm
there.
su- yeah.
Will, you
You
name
worked
it.
with them all the way up through, and I mean, like, you talk
amazing.
with them and their parents, and they're like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we've been with Marcy
Yeah,
forever."
yeah. Since he was in kindergarten.
yeah. And I mean, that's cool too. So that means you've been here long enough and established yourself long enough where you literally have like almost an alumni list. You know what I'm saying? Like, of kids that you've worked with that have gone
Yeah.
on.
Then I got invited to be in a travel team.
Mhm.
So then I decided to go for my license. So I got my all the FIFA soccer credential stuff, and so I applied for the license, and I went to the courses to get the E license. I got the D license, and now I have to go to Miami to go for my C license.
Oh no, you have to go to Miami.
Yeah.
Shucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's. Are you going to be doing that in the near future? Or
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Probably it was supposed to be done in 2019, but because when the COVID-19 happened, everything got shut down. They didn't have 2019, 2020. So
Yep. They didn't have the course for that year. Yeah.
yeah, so they kind of I'm hoping now they start at the end of 2020. So
Gotcha.
I'm
Yep.
looking forward to be back next year.
Yep, yeah, and that's definitely exciting. I mean, especially like it's one thing to know the game, and it's one thing to be around the game for a long time, but it's another thing to actually take the time and get certified.
You get certified, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like I've thought about it myself. Either just for reffing or for actual, coaching to be an actual coach. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I know the game well enough, and I coached enough that I consider myself a coach. But in terms in the eyes of the FIFA folks and of the U.S.
US
soccer program,
Federation, yeah.
soccer federation. In terms of the big people.
Oh yeah,
so.
it is good too because you make a lot of connections.
Yes. Yep.
I have a free connection with the U.S. Soccer Federations, drills and coaches' feedbacks and
Resources
chats,
and-
resources.
Yeah.
Just for you to take the E license. In order for you to get the E license, you have to have the referee license as well. So you have to take that class.
Yeah, you
too.
have to have both. They really want. I mean, and this is smart too. I mean, we run into this from time to time that folks that coaches, referees, and even I'll go even to the parents and players that don't really know the game. They think they know the game, but they don't know the game, right? And then again, that comes back to the importance of knowledge of the game, right? And I mean, it's one thing to that's a handball. Yeah, okay, yeah, like I know that's a hand,
Right.
but like giving the person advantage, or if there is advantage on the right, it's knowing those little technical pieces,
exactly.
or the offsides, or the this or that, and it's important to have well-rounded coaches and refs. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, and that's the reason I wanted to do that. With the C license, I can coach colleges and
Oh wow, yeah.
universities
Yep,
that
yep.
give me that license to coach them.
Yep.
If I want to, not that that's my goal right now.
Right.
My goal to do that is because with the C license, I can become a U.S. soccer coach to coach new coach for E license over here.
Gotcha. Yep.
I got that certification, and I can training
You can do trainings up here for
up
people.
here. Yeah.
Well, I'll be in touch with you about that once you get that. So, when you were getting involved more with the rec and the other programs, what was your first thoughts and in terms of making a good program? Like, what was your, I mean, I know that you said, doing the U.S. Soccer Federation, they have resources and stuff, but obviously you have your own thoughts and feelings of what you want to design for a program. So, what did you, when you were first setting those up, what did you have in mind?
My first thing, I want to taught them what I learned.
Yeah.
All the
Pass it on, right?
all the fundamentals.
Yep.
So that was my thing. I says, especially for the youngest. I know a lot of coaches focus on formation and all that kind of stuff, but which is good too. But the more important for the rec is really the foot skills. Your foot skills, knowledge of the ball. You gotta have that foot skill. Your first touching the ball. Move to the field, the dribble, roll over the ball, stop, move back, pull backs, and dribble inside outside, and all those dribbles are very important because that will come in handy in the game.
Yeah, I mean, as we say to our kids, if you don't have a good first touch on the ball, forget about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you can't hit the ball and then redirect it with either via a pass or via to your other foot for a dribble or whatever it may be, you're going to lose the ball. And it's really obvious, folks that have put in the time on their foot skill. And, and not even just, I can't even just say foot skill, ball control. Ball control, and control and comfortability. Like you said, you were there on the ball every day, so you became very comfortable with the soccer ball, regardless if it had a lot of air in it or if it was flat. So you just learn.
In Brazil, I don't know if that's the correct word we use here in Portuguese. We use ball intimacy. You gotta have intimacy with the ball.
I think that's a fair way to put it. It's I mean, you can hit a slippery slope when you describe things intimacy to a bunch of high schoolers or kids, but I think that's true though. And I mean, like I said, I think that's a very accurate way of describing it, because you almost need to have a relationship with the sport. To understand the sport, and that's with anything in life, really. I mean, if you have a real intimate, and I will use the word intimate, real intimate understanding of the sciences or of the whatever, the soccer of soccer or football, right? And that will springboard you forward regardless.
And the ball is there. The ball is rounded, and the ball has several sections.
Yeah.
You hit in the middle with the lace, you get the power. You hit with the inside of your foot on the left side of the ball, you get the curving, the spinning that go over the net. And you can spinning using the outside of the foot to the opposite side. In all those areas that you touch the ball, you can bend the ball different ways.
Or back in the day, people loved throwing around, just bend it like Beckham, right? I mean, for him to do that took years and years.
As
years.
A kid, he did that. Yeah,
he tried. I guarantee you, he practiced that since he was probably 10 years
10
old.
years old. Yes, I am so sure that.
Yeah. I mean, just to watch, and I know you're the same way. Just to even watch, guys like that just puts you in awe. You know what I'm saying? For me, growing up, I mean, I'm going to ask you in a second who was your soccer idol growing up. But for me, it was Landon Donovan. Just being a United States player. I mean, he was like for me, the first U.S. player that really he just grew up playing soccer. He was an American guy, because before everybody else that we, really looked to was, foreign that came over, and that's fine. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like, watching these international guys play is incredible, but to have I played midfield when I was young, and so to have a midfielder, who was the leader of the team, that's really spoke to me. And he was a really great player. I mean, led the U.S. in assists and goals for a long time, and he was just an incredible.
No, he was incredible.
Player. Yeah,
I really enjoy watching him playing.
Yeah, and just he was very humble too.
Yeah.
He wasn't very braggadocious. He did a lot with kids. He wrote books about helping get more kids. He has a foundation, getting more kids into soccer. Anyway.
What I like about him that he was a playmaker.
Yes.
He was very smart. How to he walk in he runs in the field without the ball, scanning the entire field. When the ball goes to him, he already knew exactly what to do with the ball. So.
And he already knew, if he was passing, he had already had it locked in.
Very
moments
intelligent
before.
player.
Yes, very much so. So who was your sport? Your soccer. I mean, Pele or.
Well, for my Brazilian fans, if anyone is gonna hear this, they're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah.
wasn't Argentina. Diego Armando Maradona was. Maradona was pioneer on his dribbles, and his touch on the ball, his confidence with the ball, his intimacy with the ball. So I used to watch his game, back then Argentina was with him.
Oh,
they won the World Cup
they
and
were
everything.
Incredible, yeah.
Oh yeah. So him for me was him first, and another one was number 10 from Flamengo in Rio de Janeiro, Zico. He's that guy was phenomenal too. But Maradona to me was I would not miss Maradona playing a game.
Right. And that's really unique. I mean, we have our our sports idols as we're going up, and we try to maybe do the move, especially with soccer players. With kids playing baseball, they'll maybe mock the way the guys do their wind up before they bat. They may have the bat way up in the air, swinging it around or whatever. But with soccer players, I know you watch some of these young kids, they'll a couple of our kids, they really must like Neymar, because you watch them and they try to do exactly what Neymar does. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. And that's not always good either, because there's some bad sides, especially if the player's a little dramatic. It's a different dynamic, right?
Yeah.
And but like I said, it's important to have your sports idols there, I guess.
Yeah.
So, rec program aside, when did you feel the move to coach other things, or was it just because of the success with the rec? Did you feel like you wanted to go on and do other programs, or what prompted your next? What was your after the rec? What was the next team you got involved with?
Well, after the rec, I'm still actually helping the rec.
Right. Yeah. It's not like
my goal was to have a club here, to have a travel club.
Yeah.
And that's why I focus on getting my license and get things
Yeah.
organized. So to have a club over here.
I couldn't agree more.
You know, because it's a town, Augusta, and I realized that we didn't have one here. We had another one's a little bit far away from here.
Right.
So my mind was like, well, we have a lot of those kids over here that we can build up and have a club over here and compete.
Yeah, most definitely.
So that was.
I mean, even when I played, I mean, we obviously still didn't have a club in town, and I played with. Like I said, I mean, like when we played Winslow, I mean, I was very familiar with their defense because I used to play with those guys. I'd go up and play with, I mean, the majority of our team were kids from like Winslow, Waterville, and played with a lot of good kids. Yeah. But I wasn't playing with people I knew. I mean, all my friends were either playing for other teams or, you know, they technically lived in Manchester, so they could go play for whomever, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, whomever.
You touch a great point now. The reason a lot of schools today succeeds, like go to Winslow, go to what the pitch is over there, Camden, Portland. A lot of the high school team today succeed. They have a lot of players. Like you go there, you see you have like two full teams there.
Two full benches worth of kids, yeah.
And they play so well because they they pay for a club on their town.
They play year round.
And they play together.
Yep.
They are friends. They go to school together. Yep. They play together. They go socialize together.
Yep.
So it's not only the playing together, but the friendship, the socializing, united the bond that they created. So
and
when
it's
they
early on, like they're playing U10, or, you know, U whatever, all the way up until they can't. And they age out, right?
And they play the high school as a senior.
Well,
and
when they play for DCU or Central Maine United or Portland Phoenix down in Portland.
And
like I said, it hate to say it, but it's the truth. It gives them a leg up.
Yeah.
It does. And I mean, we see that. I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit that, you know, not all of our kids on our Cony team play year round. I mean, and that's nothing wrong with that. There are other sports. There's other things going on outside of sports as well. People are busy. There's more options available to kids these days than even when I was in school. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, even at Cony. Like, I mean, I'm, you know, not trying to start the, you know, sports v video game debate, but, I mean, they even have, like, an esports team now over at Cony, which, I mean, I graduated from Cony in 2015. It's been, you know, 5-6 years now, and, I mean, that's something that's even changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so many more avenues available to kids. Yeah. But like I'd love to see kids. I mean, I played year round. You played. I mean, difficult to play year round. Yeah, you got to go find all pro or Suki or, you know, indoor, you know, place. But
that's the difference. Like you said, you go there, you don't know anybody, and they over there knows each other.
Yes.
Imagine you growing up in here and playing a club over here with all your buddies from school.
That'd be awesome. We'd be really good too.
The union, you know what I mean? The bond.
Yeah.
Knowing each other, being together in the school, in the soccer, in the pitch.
Well, you're playing with your brothers. You know what I'm saying? You're playing with your for your family. There's a lot on the line every game.
You get the teamwork.
Yes.
A coach cannot bring in 2 months in preparation, in a month of a preparation.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, there's just time there that you can't make up for. Yeah. It's like, guys, you got to understand, like, we're going to do everything we can as a coaching staff. Right? We're going to do everything we can as a coaching staff, but there are just some things that can't be taught. They need to be repeated time and time again, just over time. There's not much you can't. I mean, we don't have the fast forward remote. You know what I'm saying? We can't just speed things along, right? Yeah. So going on, you know, wanting to start a club, you know, in Augusta, obviously still in work in progress. We'll call it there.
Yes.
You know, but that being said. Did you see yourself when you were younger coaching at all? You know, as a player, did you think maybe, it'd be kind of cool, you know, later on, you know, when I'm older, you know, to coach, or was it always just, you know, focus, you know, I'll just play, you know?
No, not really, just play. Yeah. I play like I said, when I get down there, I play in Boston for the semi-pro, in the Brazilian team.
Yeah.
And they that's huge over there.
Yeah.
They have you name it. I didn't know that. They have a German team. They have a team from all over. England team and I was like, wow, it's
That's
pretty competitive.
impressive. Yeah,
Russian team.
Yeah, wow.
I remember when I get married, my wife was pregnant,
Yeah.
and she said, "Now it's time for you to get done because I'm gonna have the baby. Stop with that. You're done." So I give up the soccer, the Brazilian team. We went to a restaurant to celebrate and everything. I come home. Week later, I receive a phone call from the Russia manager. Hey, Marcio, inviting me to go play for the Russian team. I was like, I never thought in my mind to go play for the Russians.
Yeah, I'm gonna go join the Russian Federation. All right. Oh, that's great. You can call me Boris. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, I went there and I get to enjoy playing a little bit with them. I learn a little bit, Das Vedania, and a few words here and there. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
But my daughter was born, and I had to. It was just us. My wife's family was over here in Maine. She was born in Boston.
Yep.
It was difficult,
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, family creates a different dynamic. I mean, you gotta make sacrifices, and all that stuff, right? For the ones you love, and that's just. And we're better for it, even if it's like, I'm not playing, but there's a lot of other joys that come with family and
absolutely
with all the other goodness that comes from it, right?
But I never really thought of being a coach.
Well,
at the time.
Right. And so you came on back in June of 2021, correct? Or May of 2021 as the Cony boys head coach.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that, I mean, before you'd been involved with the program, helping out.
Helping Mr. John Millett.
Mr. Millett or Coach Millett for me. I mean, and that's actually how I met you. And that's a great way to segue into that. I mean, I can't remember if you had helped him out at all when I was still playing, or if you simply.
No, I think came after.
Okay, came after, because I mean I came back after a few years
graduated.
After I graduated, and Millett was like, Ryan, meet Marcio. I'm like, hey, how you do? And it instantly hit it off. I mean, we just both have such love and understanding of the game of soccer.
Yeah.
I mean, we very much bonded on that, and also. I mean, a little biased. I think we're both pretty decent guys, So we got along, pretty quickly.
I think you're both easygoing.
Yeah.
I'm easygoing.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. And it was cool to talk with somebody who understood the game as well as I did. I can say you see, the striker to the blah, to the blah, to the blah, and then off that kick and then the angle, and you're like, most definitely. And then did you see blah, 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 blah? Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Our connection as a coach in this first season was awesome. You and I and Efrain is like we all just looked at each other.
Yeah.
I was confident in whatever decision you guys did too, because we are on the same page and we all knew the players.
That was unique for us this year. We had a coaching staff that was absolutely 100% on the same page with each other. Most of the time there, and that was really awesome and unique. Like I said, we had a really good season, good group of boys, and really just played hard, fought hard throughout the whole season. Went to the second round of playoffs, which is not always common for Cony soccer. I mean, at least I know when I played, we'd be lucky to win 3 games, and now they're out there second round of playoffs. It's nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's we were very proud. We are very proud of them.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Especially we start from the scratch, start from the beginning, from the very bottom.
We started over this summer, summer soccer practices, literally from the fundamentals.
Yeah, we start, with formation, with the system we're going to play. We lined up to them, and then we teach them from building up defensively, all the way, building up, consolidation, incision, and finish. And we developed drills with them for every position. I know it was a lot they took.
Well, it's like as we said before, it's not a quick process. It's a learned process, repetition. I mean, I mean, our set, our kind of, I don't want to call them set plays, but avenues. Giving them options for different offensive plays up front. I mean, we ran our certain schemes probably 20, 30 times, just in one practice. But you got to have that repetition.
Yes, absolutely. And I think they develop respect for us because we develop a system that as a team. everything we were open as a team.
Yes. Yep.
That was not head coach or this or that or player. We all had input. The players, they all had their own inputs. We discussed things together.
Yes.
And that's it's very important for the players to feel that they are important. Their opinions important.
They're validated. They
They're
want to be
validated.
heard from time.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
sometimes there's a balance, right?
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you need to be quiet, but also on the flip side, it's also important to make sure they're heard.
Yeah, and I think that was a big, and of course, fun.
Yes.
They work hard and then they play hard, and we had so much fun with so much drills and.
There was very
Oh, my
rarely I
goodness.
didn't have a smile on my face or I
Yeah,
wasn't laughing.
yeah.
Usually when I was yelling, or something like that. But the fact of the matter being is that it was just an all-around I felt good. Like I didn't ever show up to practice and be like, I don't want to really be here today. Every time I'd show up for a practice or game, just an absolute joy.
And you gotta have that free time, that bond team, and we were playing, everybody freedom, and you know what I mean. And like last Brazilian game we did, we put the whole team and play at half a team. The Brazilian game, you scored the beautiful goal with the volley,
left-footed goal. Yeah. I can still do it,
I was like, whoa.
Well, I was just, it was funny, when we were talking about, I think you put on Facebook, game tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And beautiful goal by Coach Dumont.
I saw that was like, I mean, every player there did like a whoa. I was jumping. I was like, wow, man.
I'll take it.
That was so awesome, man.
Well, so for me, I mean, I haven't really touched a soccer. I had ACL. I had told you I had ACL surgery back in, it would have been December of 2018 into 2019. And I just, I played rugby in college, and I just hadn't touched a ball. I hadn't touched a ball in the longest time. And then after surgery, it's just been a slow I didn't want to, go too crazy, because the tearing an ACL, given I've had a pretty small number of injuries, but I'd never been through anything more painful in my life, just excruciatingly painful. And I just didn't want to hurt myself again. It's just, and it's not out of fear, but it felt great to, put my cleats back on and play, even just with the boys, It was just very awesome experience. And like I said, they're a good group of guys. And also, too, the coaching staff makes a huge difference. You and Efrain, excellent. And I highly recommend anybody that hasn't had an opportunity to come see us play next year, definitely either in the summer or in the fall. It's good. It's quality soccer now. It's not like the old Cony team where they're getting red cards and getting in fights. This is actual soccer we're playing now. So
we play hard and have fun.
Yes,
they have fun.
definitely.
That's what the goal.
Yes,
That's the goal.
Yep.
Because when you have fun, you do your best.
Yes. Yeah, most definitely. And so, what do you think if you could think back? I don't know if you have a specific or more general moment over the season. Like, what was your favorite part of the season? Or if you have a moment, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to just pick one, but.
Yeah, that's a tough question because I think it was.
Or maybe it was a couple different things.
It was. I think I had several moments. Moments that we cannot forget when we win a game. Their faces, with smile on their faces, and we develop the habit of to go there and end of the game and
thank your fans.
Salute to the families, and then you see the connection, making the connection between our team and the fans, trying to bring more fans to watch the game.
Very well attended, even we're still in the midst of COVID and wherever else. Honestly, very well attended. Our parent and fan group was very impressive.
It was
this
awesome.
Year. They were great. They were great.
They were awesome.
Very supportive, not negative, not nagging. No nagging of other play.
Exactly.
You go to some schools and it's kind of sad. And I'm biased here. I know that. I love Cony. I bleed red and white, but the fact of the matter being is that you go to some of these other schools and the parents are just as bad as the student section. They're yelling at the kids. They're swearing at people. They're just not like. At least we conduct ourselves with some class here in Augusta at Cony. Not everybody may not yes. Let me try that again. Might not everybody will agree with me, but I at least think that, and I see that.
Yeah, and that happened actually in the last game that we played.
Yeah.
Against
Ellsworth.
Yeah. In the beginning of the game, I don't know if you recall that there was one moment that I didn't forget. Their coach, Coach Paul from Ellsworth, I know the fans on that team, when when the players fall our team, they all like start to ruin it for that was the negative like Paul saw that the coach immediately he left the bench and he went to the fans and spoke to them like nice and loud for respect.
That's so important. I respect him. I mean, like, and they were actually, even though it's hard, you go into the second round of playoffs, double overtime, 1-0 loss. And that was a tough game. You saw it on the face. There was frustration on the face of us and the kids. Yeah. But regardless, they played a heck of a game. But the awesome thing is, and you did the right thing and you played a good game when they, as you told me when we got on the bus, they want to play, preseason games. We come up, like you're telling me, they come up and we feed them. We go down there, they feed us and play. Yeah. And you know what? That's the step in the right direction, my friend.
What a wonderful group! What a wonderful coaching! I was very impressed there.
Yeah, and I mean, like, am I a little mad that we lost them? Of course, but I'm not. I won't be too mad about it when I'm eating some spaghetti and playing some soccer next year. But
we lost on a double overtime, and that goal was actually more. The weather.
Yeah, well, we had the nor'easter coming in, and we were on the coast.
Against
we were in
us.
The strongest. Yeah, against us. Like we said, when we were in the first round of overtime, we were just watching the wind, and we were playing on the opposite end. Our goal was the opposite, and we're like, we're gonna have a hell of a time trying to defend this. I said that to you verbatim. I said we're gonna have a hell of a time trying to defend against this, and anybody would. I mean, respect to Ellsworth for being able to defend in those conditions because it wasn't easy.
And it also got worse too. It got worse.
It got worse for us.
Very worse. It's like wow.
The storm. Well, they moved the game up because originally the game was supposed to be at 5:00, and it was going to be torrential downpours, and the second overtime started right around 5:00.
We couldn't kick the ball to the middle field. The ball would not go.
Yeah, we just, it's coming backwards. It was just not. It was just not.
But our players, they're phenomenal. They play so awesome that game too, and they put their hearts on the cleats. They laid everything there
on the line, on the field.
Everything in the field. They gave 100%
and more
all the way to the end. I mean, you could not be more proud than that.
No, and like I said, that was it was almost. I almost feel like in part they were, kind of upset that they maybe let themselves down, maybe let us down a little bit. But it was just, important to tell them, anyone from a freshman on the team to a senior, you guys made us damn proud. We're not upset. Do you see? I mean, like, we might be a little pissed off, but we're not upset. We're actually really proud. And we'll be good in a day. Just give us a minute to process this.
We're just sad. Like you guys.
Exactly. And so, looking forward, Marcio, what are your hopes for the future of the Cony boys? Cony Rams.
There obviously there are a lot of work to do still. Right. The good thing about that, we already started this year with this team. It's sad. We not sad for us for the team, but I wish all the best luck for the graduation for the seniors to that leaving.
Yep.
But for those that are gonna stay, they already know the system. Mm-hmm. They already been told all the drills. So we're gonna pick up from there and advance.
Yes.
Continue.
Just keep moving forward.
Move forward, advance. Because that's more. That meets the eyes.
Right. Yeah. There's always more. I mean, even when you get a team that's up to even you could argue an elite level, you can still always do more.
Oh yeah, and so that's what.
Just continuing on the progress
that's what
made this
encourage
year.
us. If they play so well up to this point, now imagining moving on from this to the next level.
Right. Right.
So I have faith there. And for the numbers and the group that we have coming from JV, that we're going to have a good team.
I think we're going to have a solid group coming out next year. I think we're going to have a very good foundation laid for the year to come.
Yeah,
most definitely. Well, Marcio, I really greatly appreciate you coming on and sharing some Brazilian stories and just sharing your thoughts on soccer and a few other things. And so I greatly appreciate you coming on, my friend, and you're welcome back anytime. And greatly looking forward to next soccer season to coach with you again.
My pleasure, my friend. And go Rams.
Go Rams. Amen, Marcio. Amen. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week. This has been my episode here, episode 14 with Coach Marcio. And I'll be back in another 2 weeks with episode 15, guys. It's been a trip. Make sure you're staying tuned in on all of our social media happenings so you don't miss any of that DuView goodness. Make sure you're hitting us up on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, guys. All right? All that can be found in the description for the page. So that being said, just check us out, keep us up to date, and if you missed any episodes, head right over to the archive and catch up on any of the 13 previous episodes. So that being said, guys, have a great rest of your week, and thanks for tuning in.